from the night his own club's bullet killed his wife by mistake. To a jail cell 15 years later, where Opie stepped in front of a beating meant to kill his best friend instead.
I got this.
And the men who took everything from him never once heard him ask for anything back. But here's the thing. This is every time Opie Winston chose loyalty over himself, and what that loyalty finally cost him. Chapter 1. The Debt. Here's the reality. Opie Winston did 5 years in a California state prison for a job he didn't run alone, a truck yard bombing with a club associate named Kyle Hobart. When the cops showed up, Hobart drove off. Opie stayed. He never gave up a name. 5 years is a long time to keep your mouth shut for men who never once made it easy on him. Opie did it anyway, because in this club, silence isn't just loyalty, it's currency. It's the thing that buys you back in when you need it, and Opie was going to need it more than he could have known standing in that cell. That's the code he was already living by before the pilot even starts. Two years after abandoning Opie to take the fall, Hobart walked back into Charming still wearing the ink he'd never earned the right to keep. SAMCRO gave him a choice, fire or a knife. Kyle chose fire over blade. That's what happens to men who break the code Opie kept silently for 5 years inside. By the time you meet him, Opie's trying to walk away from the whole thing. He's got a straight job at the lumberyard. He's got a wife, Donna, telling him every night that this life gets men killed. And she's not wrong. She just doesn't know yet how right she is. And if you think a man who did 5 years without talking is the kind of man who just gets to leave, you're dead wrong. He's got 2 kids and a mortgage he can't cover on lumber wages alone. So when the club needs one more man for one more run, Opie says yes. Not because he wants back in, because the debt from those 5 years was never actually paid off. It was only ever deferred, and the club always collects. Chapter 2. The Widow. Here's where the club collects on that deferral, and it collects from the wrong person entirely. ATF agent June Stahl convinces club president Clay Morrow that Opie has turned informant. Clay believes it. There's no trial for that accusation in this world. There's just an order. He tells Sergeant-at-Arms Tig Traeger to kill Opie and stage it as a rival gang's drive-by. The night it happens is Abel Teller's homecoming party, a celebration, the kind of night nobody expects to end in a funeral. Opie takes the kids in Donna's car. Donna takes his truck. Somewhere between the order going out and the trigger getting pulled, Clay tries to call it off. The call doesn't land in time. Tig never gets the message. He kills Donna instead. Gone. In a single burst of gunfire meant for her husband, in a truck that wasn't even hers, on a night that was supposed to be about a baby coming home. Opie is told it was the 1-9ers.
Donna? Donna? Donna! Whoa, whoa, sir. It's all right, let him in.
He believes it, because why wouldn't he? The club has never lied to him about something like this before. What he doesn't know yet is that the club he bled 5 silent years for is the same club that put a bullet in his wife's skull. Let that sink in. He's about to spend the next 2 years mourning a woman killed by the family he trusts most, grieving in the dark, guarded by exactly the people who owe him the truth. Chapter 3. The Mercy. 2 years pass before Opie learns the truth, and it doesn't come from Clay. It comes from the man who pulled the trigger.
She wasn't supposed to be in the truck. Oh.
Son of a bitch.
Tig, eaten alive by guilt, asks Opie a question that gives it all away. Why was Donna driving his truck that night? Opie puts it together standing in his own garage, in real time, with a wrench still in his hand. He doesn't go after Tig. He goes after Stahl, the agent who built the lie that got Donna killed in the first place.
I'll take my share of the guilt, okay? It comes with the territory.
Donna was a beautiful woman. She was a wonderful mother. She was an innocent in all of this.
He puts a gun to her head with an empty magazine, doesn't pull the trigger, lets her know, without saying it in so many words, that the outlaw had mercy she never earned and never would have shown him. That mercy has an expiration date. A year later, in the season 3 finale, Opie gets his real shot.
This is what she felt.
He shoots June Stahl in the back of the head with a MAC-10 in her own car and tells her exactly why. This is what she felt. 2 years of grief, spent in 5 words. In that same episode, Chibbs kills Jimmy O'Fallon, the man who spent a season tearing apart the club's Irish gun pipeline. 2 reckonings, same night. This is the show at its most surgical. Opie spent 2 years being the one man in this club who chose restraint over revenge. Restraint didn't bring Donna back. It never was going to. Vengeance is what finally closed the account, and series Frame keeps finding the same trap at the center of the show. The men who try to stay clean get pulled down anyway, to the level of the men who never bothered trying in the first place. If that Stahl execution hit the way it's supposed to, here's what to do. Subscribe and hit the bell. We go this deep on your favorite series every week. And if this breakdown earned it, smash the hype and like buttons below. It's the single best way to make sure more people find this. Now let's keep going. Chapter 4, The Father. Here's a fact worth sitting with. Piney Winston co-founded this club with Jax Teller before Opie was even born. He served in Vietnam for it. He kept its darkest secrets for decades, including proof in JT's own letters that Clay had turned SAMCRO into something its founders never intended. Piney used those letters as leverage, trying to force Clay out of the cartel gun trade the club had gotten tangled in. Clay didn't negotiate. He drove out to Piney's cabin and shot him in the chest with Piney's own shotgun.
Too late.
Then he scrawled a cartel signature on a photo of the club's founding members to make it look like Lobo Sonora did it. Convenient, considering SAMCRO had spent the better part of 2 seasons doing business with that exact cartel. Opie finds the body himself. What follows isn't consistently reported across every account of the show, so we're not going to pretend to know the precise hour he learned the truth, but learn it he does.
Please. Don't make me kill you.
And when he does, he doesn't hesitate. He shoots his own club president twice in the gut. Jax is the one who stops him from finishing it, and then hides what happened, from the club and from Opie both. That's a hell of a thing to bury a father under. A murder made to look like the cartel's doing, and a lie the club needed kept alive to hold everything together. This is the same stretch of time Opie marries Lyla.
I pronounce you man and wife. Have at it.
He promises to protect her, the way he protects the thing he trusts most, his motorcycle. It's the closest thing to a happy chapter this man gets in 5 seasons. It does not last. He finds out she's been secretly staying on birth control behind his back. He retaliates by sleeping with another woman from her old life. The marriage survives that technically. Trust does not, and neither does the illusion that Opie, of all people, gets to have something uncomplicated. Chapter 5, The Refusal. By season 5, Jax is club president, and he wants Opie standing next to him as vice president. It's the job. It's the reward for every year of loyalty Opie has bled out for this club, going back to a prison cell he never talked his way out of. Any other man at that table takes the patch without a second thought. Opie says no.
I know you can't sit at the table with them. I was wrong to ask you. I love you, Hope.
Standing at his own father's memorial, he gives Jax the truth instead of the politically safe answer. I'm more afraid I'm gonna turn into you. He's terrified of who Jax is turning into. Think about that for a second. This is a man who just watched his father die for keeping this club's secrets, telling his best friend that the real danger was never the club's enemies. It's what the club turns you into if you stay close enough to the top of it for long enough. Jax gives the VP patch to Bobby instead. Opie pulls back, steps away from the center of things. For the first time since the pilot, it is the single closest he comes, in 5 seasons, to actually getting out clean. He doesn't know yet that he's already run out of time to. Chapter 6, The Sacrifice. Here's how the club pulls him back in one final time. Jax, Tig, and Chibs get arrested on murder charges. Opie deliberately gets himself locked up too, punches a sheriff to guarantee it, so he can stay close enough on the inside to protect Jax. Inside, a crime boss named Damon Pope has reached into that jail, and he has terms, 50% of the club's earnings. Tig rotting in prison for the rest of his life. And one more thing, one of the 3 remaining sons behind bars has to die, so Pope's witnesses recant their statements. He leaves the choice of who to Jax. In their cell, Jax finally tells Opie everything he's been hiding for years, Clay's real motive for killing Piney, JT's letters, all of it.
That Clay was gonna kill him. Specifically that he would sabotage his bike. And he was right.
Opie's response isn't rage this time. It's exhaustion, plain and quiet.
Aren't you getting tired of this?
It just ain't fun anymore. Chasing cash we don't need and spending every dime trying to stay alive.
Not a threat, not a demand, just a man finally naming the exact trap this whole video has been building toward. Then the guards come to collect on Pope's terms. Jax moves to sacrifice himself first. Opie shoves him back and headbutts the guard sergeant instead, forcing the decision onto himself before Jax can finish making it.
I got this.
He's led into a separate room. Inmates are waiting. Opie fights. He loses. A pipe strike to the back of the head finishes it, while Jax, Tig, and Chibs watch through the glass, unable to do a single thing about it. Jax makes the guard sergeant a promise before he's even released. He will find out who he is, where he lives, and he will kill him. Done. The next episode is The Wake. Bobby leaves his hat in the casket. Tig leaves a bottle of tequila, so Opie can share it with Piney. Chibs leaves his rosary. Jax puts in a childhood photo of the 2 of them on bicycles, says, "I'll see you later, brother," and slams the hearse door himself. At the table afterward, he says it plain. "I think Opie's been looking for a way out since Donna died. He's never been right since. He went out a warrior. Clay, still alive, still at the table, offers his own read. No doubt Ope made his own choice. It's Pope forcing that choice that concerns me." Gemma collapses into grief, asking nobody in particular what's happening to all of them. Even Lyla, grieving her husband, tells Tara bitterly that she's the new queen of a court none of them asked to rule. Chapter 7. The Verdict. Here's what this death actually cost the people who made it. Showrunner Kurt Sutter told TV Line the day after it aired that the death would color the rest of the episodes for the rest of the series, and that it wasn't a death that would happen in vain. He told E! News he'd been building toward it since season 3, and that Piney's death the year before finally closed the loop, a circular dynamic between Jax and Opie he said he couldn't find a way out of. He told The Hollywood Reporter exactly what he wanted the death to mean. Opie going out a warrior, with nobility, protecting the people he still loved, even with nothing left to live for. Ryan Hurst, the actor who spent 5 seasons building this man from the ground up, found out over the phone in April, months before the episode aired. His own words afterward: "He couldn't stop crying. He tried to talk Sutter out of it, and he never did find a version of the argument that served the story better than the one Sutter already had. It's not necessarily my position to comment on that," he said. It's Kurt's show. On his last day, the cast shaved Opie's beard off with a samurai sword Charlie Hunnam had gifted him for the occasion. Hunnam later said the table read, left the whole cast sitting in silence for the better part of an hour. Castmate Theo Rossi called it the beginning of the end for the ensemble, and watching the back half of this show, it's hard to argue he was wrong. Critics agreed on one thing almost universally: Opie was the show's moral center. The AV Club's Zach Handlin said as much in his review, calling him the show's conscience since season 1, even while grading the episode itself a B-, arguing that any viewer invested enough to care about Opie was also invested enough to see the death coming, which drained some of the tension out of getting there. That's a fair critique. It's also beside the point. The show didn't need this death to be a surprise. It needed it to be a cost. And it was. Damon Pope, The man who forced the choice said something earlier that same season that doubles as the thesis for this entire arc. Using pain to take things to the next level is what turns players into kings. Jax became king that year. Opie is the pain he used to get there. Some critics have gone as far as reading this whole show through a Hamlet framework. And in that reading, Opie is the closest thing this story has to its Ophelia. The comparison isn't perfect. Ophelia's ending is despair. Opie's is a choice, the last one he ever gets to make, and the only one in 5 seasons that's entirely his own. Opie Winston never once put the club before the people he loved. The tragedy of this entire story is that it never once returned the favor. Every act of restraint, every silence he kept, every patch he refused, none of it bought him a way out. It only ever bought him time. And in the end, the one thing this man got to choose for himself was how he spent the last of it. Before you go, if this is the kind of breakdown you want more of, consider joining the channel as a member. Members get their comments prioritized, so I see them first. They get early access to videos before anyone else, exclusive loyalty badges, and they're directly supporting the research behind these deep dives. Hit join below if that sounds like your kind of thing. Now tell me in the comments, did Opie make the right call in that cell, or should Jax have stopped him no matter what? I read every single one. If you want every breakdown like this, like the video, and subscribe. See you in the next one.